What's up, guys? I'm another Metalhead. I'm doing 150 classic albums by the end of the year. I'm also doing Patreon requests and new releases. And Loathe has released a new album. I have not heard a single Loathe track. I do know that they're somewhat related to like Deftones, like they sound somewhat like that. And I have been absolutely adoring Deftones. Every single month, Deftones is going to be posted here, and I fucking love it. So I am curious to delve into this one. I have gotten comments about doing like Loathe's 2018 album or 2020 something. One of the around that time they did an album that seems to be loved, but I haven't got it requested on Patreon, which is how I do it. I have about 600 requests this year so far, and I've done about 400 of them. So if you want to see that, go over to the Patreon. But yeah, I'm going incredibly blind. I don't know if this is going to be one of their good albums or one of their bad ones. I don't know, because no one knows. But yeah, let's see how it goes. I'm curious to see if I can pick up on like the Deftones influence and if they like deviate from it and make it their own. Let's see. Already not Deftones, because there's... I don't think I've had a piano intro for one. Pretty.
The sun rested, withstood against the test of time. Tested from the nest until the checkered line. Gifted every strength from what the stress refined.
Kind of reminds me of Maruja.
Pressure on a catalyzed gold. These diamonds out of cold. From the fire came the body of my soul. Surrounded by the others that embody what I know. Built a hive for the honey that we sow. Coloring lines out of control. The margin broken up into pieces in celebration from every moment of growth. Every story we float down the river, giving oath that we never turning back until everybody is cold. Still praise for my highest and our lows. Feet walking through the fire and fighting through any growth. Resting on the mountains that we chose. Stood against Goliath and we rose. We stood against Goliath and we rose. The energy will survive. Through 1,000-mile lands in between the paradise.
Is this a... I feel like this is the type of track that you would have with a concept album, but I don't know what the concept is because the album's new, so I'll look up Genius. Do they usually do concept albums? I like this build. Bit of a different mixing between the two tracks. It was a nice transition, but definitely very different. It's kind of quiet. Also, I don't know who Static Dress are. Well, I like the texture there. Oh, the clarity's coming. That's cool. Ooh. There's like a firecrackery quality to the drums here. It's cool. Interesting mix. I like it. Hmm. All right, so just starting off, because now we've had like 5 minutes with the music. I don't hear Deftones at all. I don't know if the 2020 album is a lot of that, but I don't really hear that whatsoever here. There, apart from like maybe having a bit of like the harsher, more punkier metal, as like metalcore-ish adjacent and new metal adjacent like screams and stuff like that mixed with like prettier stuff. But I don't feel like Deftones patterns that. I think they have their own brand of it, but I don't think they patent it. This, yeah. So this one, be like, I've heard like derogatorily sometimes that Deftones, that Loathe is considered like a Deftones copy band or something like that. I don't hear that whatsoever at the moment. Mm. Mm. It's quite compressed, which is interesting. I like the mixing on the drums. It's cool. Like I like it, that it has really cool effects on them. Interesting, like static and electronic stuff. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, I like the vocals. Kind of reminds me of Rolly Sykes and Son of Road. Ooh. Hmm. Interesting first impression. I find it so wild. I feel like from the first track here,
From the fire came the
like it's quite. It doesn't feel as compressed and stuff like that. And but like I like the mixing the vocal. Not the vocal. The effects on the guitars and drums and stuff like that. It has like a nice like crackly energy, but it feels a bit quiet of a track. But that could just be me. That's on me. Like could be my head's. I don't know. But then the mixing feels compressed. Like a lot of that texture and fidelity is lost a tiny bit. I feel like a good example of this. I'll try and find a dream one because they do have these dreamy aesthetics, and I'll try and find an example of something that like is mixed clearer. When it comes to like the more heavy stuff. Not a perfect example, but like look at listen to this area dreamier sort of sound, right? Here. I'll show you an example of something that I feel like is like not compressed. And then you can like come to here where everything sounds a whole lot more clear. And then I'll find another example of something even more dreamy. A lot different when it comes to like metal, because it's not, this is not as adjacent, but it's the thing that comes to mind when I think of dream pop. There's like this airiness, like the clarity is still a lot bigger on this. And then if I go to like a heavier sound of that track, a block of flats, we have this, which I like the drums here. That's kind of cool. It has a punch to it, but like the vocals here, very, I don't know, like doesn't have as much clarity. And then I'll go to an example of one where it does. Go to here. Like, it's not about the concept of like what they're trying to do, if that makes sense, because I very much like all that stuff. I hope I like was able to showcase like examples. I like what they're trying to do, but it feels like the mixing is a bit off. The drums here though are fucking sick. Like the instrumentals on the back are quite nice, but the vocals feel like they're not mixed well enough into the music too. And it's not because I understand that someone could be like, oh, it's trying to be dreamy and that sort of thing. It's trying to be ethereal. But there's ways to do that with the clarity to come through, in my opinion. You can find that across Deftones' catalog. You could find that across Cocktail Twins, whatever, whoever you want to pick. But that's sort of the... I don't know, that's sort of the issue that I have with this track, is how compressed that the mix feels, despite the fact that all of the, I guess, like bits and pieces within it and the creative decisions are quite nice. Like, I like his voice. I just can't hear enough of it because it's not clear enough when it comes to the mix. But yeah, also, if you haven't watched one of my videos before, I do ratings on the side. These are my first listen ratings. I listen to these projects multiple times over before I post them to my Discord, where you can chat to me about my ratings. I'm always active in there. I also post the Album of the Year, which is the music rating website that I use. It says 600 written reviews. I've actually done about 1,400 in the past 18 months. And over that, I've gotten an average rating of a 6 out of 10, as you can see here. I solely think that's because of my Patreon, though, because over on my Patreon, you can subscribe and you get to request an album. As I said before, I have about 600 album requests that I've done, that have been requested so far this year. And I've done about 400 of them. Before this channel existed, I maybe listened to 10 albums across my entire life. Funnily enough, Bring Me the Rise and Linkin Park, that sort of thing. And then I started this to delve into more music. But yeah, to be like open-minded, go into like Pink Floyd for the first time and that sort of stuff, which was cool, which is very, very cool. But yeah, spiritually, I think I have an average album rating of maybe a 5 out of 10. If something's a 5.1, I think it's above average. But I think the Patreon request skews it more because I can't do anything outside of Patreon requests, which are usually going to be better albums because they're going to request classic artists. But yeah, I would say overall, it's weird. I feel like if there was like a remastered version of this track, I feel like I would probably, I think I could lean into like a 7 or an 8. But because a lot of the mix hampers a lot of the sound here, I would give it a 4 at the moment. I know it's harsh, but like all of this sounds cool. The drums are killer though. I feel like the drums probably don't, in my mind, don't need to be mixed differently at all because it has a nice punch to it. It's just the vocals and then everything around that. Yeah, let's go into the next track. I'll leave off at the end here, see how it transitions. I like that build. Oh, that transitioned well. That was a bad transition from those two, then entrance into the one before. Starts off promising. I feel like this does the atmospheric of the vocals better. I like the drums too. It's cool. I really like the drums. The vocals here are quite pretty too. Ooh, I like that. Ooh. That was solid. I got like 6. I like a decent and good track. I like that. The drums were quite kill. I like the vocals. It hit. That was cool. I do like that they seem to have transitions in each track. To each track. Yeah. Ooh. Oh. Oh. They're so chaotic in such a cool way. Ooh, that's so thunderous. I love it. Ooh. I love that industrial, like, twisting. That's so cool. Have they always had this industrial element? Because this is so interesting. Ooh. Kind of like electric-y. Like electric dance music in a way here. But it's like super thunderous and that's fucking sick. The production work on here is kind of crazy. Oh. Oh. Like low key, this is like good to great. Like I think it's a really cool. I like the clarity adding here. I'm assuming the next track is going to be a bit prettier with this change. Interesting transition. Has a bit of that compression issue. I like the vocals, that's pretty. The mixing on this isn't the best. It really is like compressed and muddy. But I really do like his voice. I just wish it was mixed a bit different. Oh, so this is cute. This is cool to have this almost like cool jazzy. There's like complexity here. What purpose does it serve though? I do understand that Bucky Sugar did like the piano stuff on the first, so I'm not surprised that they're trying to transition into that. But I wonder what the like reason is for. Because I don't know like too much of the lyrical content, and if it is a concept album, anything regarding that because of the muddiness and the fact that this just came out, so there's no like Genius annotations and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm assuming it's going to transition. I would say this one's actually a tiny bit worse than Block of Flats for that. But yeah, I'm curious as to why they would do this change, apart from just the fact of like Bucky Sugar is on the next track, and I'm assuming it's going to transition into that because they were the one that I'm assuming is doing the piano sort of stuff on Entrance. So they need to make it like tonally fit. But the production and mixing on this feels rough, and yeah, I'm wondering why we are going in this direction. I don't know the concept of if it is a concept album or anything like that, so I can be ignorant when it comes to that, so I'm not going to say it's necessarily wrong, but if there isn't like a purpose behind them changing into these like more classical elements here and there, it just seems like pointless flourish. So what language is that? Arabic? Athens. Alright. Greek, I guess? Language. One Greek. Alright. It's pretty.
Flowers in the fruit, gentle labor, heavy hands.
I like the
Worlds weighing on
spoken
the
passages.
blade.
I'm assuming that's Bucky Sugar then.
Strands, silk, cotton, satin, braiding down threaded bands to hold them. Pace like black molasses, fine in the open. Headed towards the unknown, steady in motion. Create the balance.
That's
remain
cool.
Floating. Grip the heart of your heart and transform hope into focus. And channel the power out the promise spoken.
Definitely more of an
Ever
instant.
forward, forever motion. Ever forward, forever motion.
The clarity on the vocals there are cool. Ooh. I want to know who Nowhere to Run is, because I think I've vaguely heard of them before. I don't think so, though. Alright. I like the energy of this. I definitely like the industrial aspect of this a lot. It's the strongest part of the album. Damn, the drumming is killer. I feel like that's a highlight of the album. There's like a bit of the industrial heaviness and the drums. The vocals here are nice. Good one. I'll go like another 6.5, like a decent and good track. That was fun. Ooh, that sounds pretty as fuck. This is pretty as fuck. I do like how much they genre fuse. Like, they have a very wide array of genres that they're dabbling in, which is cool. Yeah, I'd say it's a good track. I like it. That was a real clean transition. I like that vocal. Might be my favorite vocals that they've done so far. Ooh. Another good fucking track. These heavier elements here, I feel like they're super strong. It's cool. Oh. I feel like this might be the best mixed track so far. Yeah. I wonder what the last minute is gonna be like. Because I said it's probably the best track, or close to it, Gemini. So I hope it doesn't stop that. I feel like that could. I feel like that one of the issues that I'm having with like these transitions, they're a bit stark. I think because mixing issues, like entrance to block of flats was weird. It felt like it genuinely tried to carry that momentum, but the mixing was just so compressed on block of flats. But what I feel like on this track, the transition from like the harshness to that feels jarring, or like it could have been done better if the tone that we have here was like kind of secretly underneath the mix on other parts of the track here. And then it would feel like when this comes in, you just like ramp up the volume and then it it just comes in. So it's like a slight texture in the back of the mix that you hear. Granted, you would need to fix the mixing in general so it wouldn't sound as like muddy and compressed. But if you had the clarity of like a better mix, and then you had this underneath it to then transition and raise the volume of that while you end, it would, I feel like, give like a cleaner transition than what this track divvies up for, like tees up. So what's the purpose? I'm assuming we're going into a. I'll go like this track's decent. I'm assuming we're going into the ladder. Except, if this is just fading out, what was the purpose? Because it feels like that's purposeless then. Hmm. Doesn't feel like it's super well thought out. Alright, the mixing on this is decent. Another like a pretty good track. Look, this thing is really nice. The transitions are becoming like, well, usually transitions are something that I appreciate quite a bit. They messed up transitions on the record already. Even though this one might be decent, it feels like I know it loses its luster, because I guess like if we listen to an entire album where every single transition makes sense and it goes really well, like there's a cohesion with the record. But I feel like once you break that chain and that link once, you've already severed it, and then each time you break it, you sever into more and more pieces, so it gets like exponential. So like one perfectly flowing album thinks, I don't know, doubt this much closer, but like Slayer, Half Blood, does a really good job of transitioning everything. Feels super cohesive and one nice experience. But with this, because it's messed up on the transitions like 3 or 4 times, it feels like it just takes it. I know it feels like, what's the purpose of the transitions in the first place? Like, even when you do a good one, it just reminds me of the bad transitions, because it's not cohesive. So if you, and it's also an example of like, if you can do the transition well here, why couldn't you do it good back there? I don't know how this transition is going to work out, but yeah. Oh, the mix on this is quite good at the moment, at least. This is the largest sounding track, I think. Yeah, this is the best. Unless they mess it up, like, this is gonna be the best track on the album. Real good. Sounds immaculate. I wish this mix was on everything. Ooh. This is such a fucking good song. What the hell? Oh.
I just keep losing. Just supposed to lose.
I feel like it's staying in this momentum for a bit too long. Because I was gonna give it an 8. But I need to know where like this ends up. Practically a third of the track. So if this doesn't go anywhere, it tanks the score a bit. These transitions are bad. It feels weird because I don't actually like, I'm being critical on this one, but it's weird because I'm not usually as like mean. I feel like I've been a bit more mean on this reaction than I usually am. I'm sorry about that. Because usually I'm like able to give like 3 out of 10s and people don't feel offended. Like a lot of my Discord is a bunch of people that most of the albums I give them are even lower scores, but like I'm respectful about it. And I feel like I'm not striking that balance on this video in particular, which I'm sorry about. I don't know if it's because this is the end of my recording day because I started at 8 p.m. It's 5 p.m. now. Oh, 8 a.m. and it's 5 p.m. now. But I'm sorry about that. But yeah, that transition was not the best. I would have to, like, it is like a third of the track now, so I'd have to give it a much lower score. That sounds like it could be pretty as fuck. They are living some of the best tracks they like the last track was real nice, but that felt like 4 minutes. Might be my favorite track. I got like 7 up. Like this is, I would say, on par with Gemini at least. Wait, I haven't heard this album, and if someone does request it, I will happily do it. I'm going to see if the mixing issues that were plaguing that album are on this track. I'm just going to skip through so I don't spoil myself, but... Holy fuck, the mixing is so much better on that album. Alright, so... It's not a Loathe issue. It's just this album doesn't have that great mixing. But yeah, overall, I would say I'm actually with that slight snippet of the other album, like 2021, that everyone loves. Despite this being disappointing, I'm excited for that album. If someone requests that, I'm fucking excited to do that. That just from snippets there, that sounded really cool. So yeah, odd release for me, and weird first impression, and I'm glad that I did get snippets of the other one, because I would have come away with a bit of a negative opinion of Loathe, I think. But just with that snippet, it's like, oh, I can kind of just write off this album, and my opinion of Loathe kind of just doesn't like get negative at all. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Love you all. Peace.